All right, so get ready, because today we are going to be diving deep into a book that I think is going to stick with you
Oh, yeah.
long after you finish the last page.
It will.
We are talking about Clay McLeod Chapman's Wake Up and Open Your Eyes.
Oh, this is a wild ride.
It is.
Buckle up is right.
Yeah, and the best part is
Yeah.
we're going to keep this conversation completely spoiler-free.
Yes.
We really want you to be interested in this book
Yes.
and want to grab a copy like ASP,
Right.
but we don't want to ruin any of the surprises in store for you.
Exactly.
So just think of this as a sneak peek into a haunted house.
Yes, and trust me, this haunted house is full of unsettling twists and turns.
It is.
It's the kind of story that gets under your skin,
Yeah.
and it just makes you question the world around you.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, this book really digs into the whole media landscape,
it does.
like how it shapes our perceptions, especially in this age of 247 news cycles
Yeah.
and online rabbit holes.
The book features this fictional news network called Fax News.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty clear what that's referencing, right?
Yes.
But it goes deeper than just satire.
Right.
It really shows how this kind of media can warp people's realities.
Yeah.
Especially the older generation.
Right, and it doesn't just drop you into this distorted world.
Yeah.
It slowly pulls you in. We
Yeah.
see this family, the Fairchilds,
Right?
and they start out seemingly normal.
Right.
But as they get increasingly sucked into the world of fax news,
Right.
things start to get really weird.
Yeah, the father,
Yes.
in particular,
Uh-huh.
he's retired, so he spends most of his day glued to the TV,
Yes.
watching Fax News.
All day long.
Yeah, and it's like his reality starts to blend with the news,
Yes.
and his behavior becomes increasingly erratic and unsettling.
And it makes you question how much of our own worldviews
Right.
are shaped by the media that we consume.
Yeah?
I mean, are we all susceptible to this kind of manipulation, or are some of us more vulnerable than others?
Right.
You know, that's something Chapman really makes you think about.
So what about the younger generation?
Right.
I mean, they're immersed in a whole different kind of media.
Completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking social media,
Yeah.
online forums, all that stuff.
That's right.
The book explores that through the character of Caleb, the nephew.
That's right. Caleb's story is like a perfect contrast to the parents' obsession with fax news.
Uh-huh.
He's navigating this digital landscape,
Right.
which is just as chaotic and potentially dangerous,
Right.
but in a different way.
Yeah.
He ends up getting involved with this mysterious figure online
Oh, yeah.
who goes by the name Ella's Egan 911.
Okay.
And let's just say things get pretty strange.
So it's like these two parallel stories unfolding.
Yeah.
You know, each generation grappling with their own form of media
Mm-hmm.
and its consequences.
Yes.
But the scary part is how it all seems to be connected
Yes.
to this concept of a great reawakening.
Now that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The Great Reawakening is this idea that's constantly being mentioned,
Okay.
almost like a whisper that grows louder throughout the book.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tied to conspiracy theories,
Right.
societal anxieties, and this creeping sense that something big is about to happen.
Okay, so we've got unsettling media influence,
Yeah.
a mysterious great reawakening,
Huh.
and this sense of dread that's building.
Yes.
But how does it all actually manifest in the story?
Right.
What kind of horror are we talking about here?
Well, let's just say
Yeah.
that Chapman does not shy away from the grotesque.
Okay.
There are moments of body horror that will make you squirm,
Right.
psychological twists that will mess with your head,
Okay.
and scenes that are just plain disturbing.
Okay. I am officially intrigued and maybe a little bit terrified.
Good.
But you mentioned earlier that this book isn't just about scares, right?
Oh, absolutely.
There's the deeper layer to it.
Yes.
Something that makes it stick with you.
Absolute. At its core, this is a story about family. It's about the bonds that connect us and how those bonds are tested when the world around us starts to unravel.
Okay.
We see this play out in the Fairchild family,
Yeah.
particularly between Noah, the main character, and his parents.
Yeah. And the book doesn't give you easy answers.
No,
You know, makes you question how you would react in a similar situation.
absolutely.
Would you stick by your loved ones even if they were transforming into something you no longer recognize?
Yeah.
Or would you run for the hills?
Right. That's the brilliance of it. It forces you to confront those uncomfortable questions,
Right.
to examine your own values and beliefs, and to wonder how you would navigate a world where the line between reality and nightmare becomes blurred.
So we've got media manipulation,
Yeah.
mysterious great reawakening,
Uh-huh.
grotesque horror,
Yes.
and this exploration of family dynamics,
Yeah,
it sounds like Wake Up and Open Your Eyes has a lot going on.
it does.
And we're just scratching the surface here, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. There are so many layers to this book. Yeah. Like so many details and nuances that we could spend hours unpacking. But for now, I think we've given you a taste, a glimpse into the unsettling world that Chapman has created.
And remember, all of this without giving away any major spoilers.
Yes.
We want you to experience this book for yourself.
Exactly.
Feel the chills.
Yes.
And the unease, and to come to your own conclusions about what it all means.
Consider this your invitation to the party.
Okay.
But be warned, this party gets a little strange.
All right, now that we've set the stage, let's dive deeper into some of the key elements of Wake Up and Open Your Eyes.
Let's do it.
And trust me, you won't want to miss this.
Nope.
But first, a quick word from our sponsors.
Right after this. You know, one of the things that really struck me about this book is how Chapman weaves together these different threads of horror.
Right.
You've got, like, the visceral, grotesque body horror happening with the parents. Like, their transformations are downright disturbing.
Yeah.
I won't go into detail.
Right.
But let's just say there are scenes that will stick with you.
They will.
But then you've also got this psychological horror playing out, especially with Caleb and his online interactions.
Yeah, and it's interesting how those two types of horror reflect the different ways each generation is being manipulated.
Exactly.
The parents are being bombarded with fear-mongering and outrage on Fox News.
Right.
Which is warping their perception of the world.
Yeah.
But with Caleb, it's more subtle.
Right.
More insidious.
Uh-huh.
He's being drawn into this online cult through promises of belonging and purpose.
Right.
But it's all a facade.
Yeah.
A trap to lure him into something dangerous.
And that's where the whole great reawakening thing really starts to take shape, right?
Yeah.
It's like this underlying current of unease that's building throughout the book.
Right.
This sense that something big and terrifying is about to happen.
And it's not just some random chaotic event.
Right.
It feels orchestrated.
It does.
Like there's a plan, a purpose behind it. There are hints of a darker force at play.
Yes.
Something manipulating events from the shadows.
Which is extra creepy.
It is.
Because it makes you wonder who's really in control.
Right.
Are the characters making their own choices?
Yeah.
Or are they being manipulated by something beyond their understanding?
Yeah, and that uncertainty, that lack of control is what makes the horror so effective.
Exactly.
You know, it's not just about jump scares or gore.
It's not.
It's about this creeping sense of dread.
Yeah.
This feeling that something is deeply wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is.
And it's not just the external threats that are unsettling.
Right.
It's the way those threats impact the family dynamics.
Uh-huh.
Like, as the awakening takes hold, the relationships between the characters start to unravel.
Right.
Noah's trying to hold on to his parents, even as they become increasingly strange and distant. And then there's Asher, his brother, who's dealing with his own family struggles, trying to protect his sons from the growing chaos.
It's heartbreaking to see how these external forces, you know, this creeping horror is tearing apart the family from the inside.
Yeah.
But even amidst the darkness, there are these glimmers of hope.
Yeah.
You know, these moments of connection that shine through.
That's right.
Like Noah trying to care for his mother, even though she's becoming more and more unsettling.
It makes you question, wouldn't you do the same?
Yeah.
Do you fight to hold on to your loved ones?
Right.
Even as they transform into something you no longer recognize?
Right.
Or would you reach a breaking point? A point where self-preservation takes over?
Right. Those are tough questions.
They are.
And honestly, there are scenes in this book that had me questioning my own sanity. Like the things these characters go through, the choices they make.
Right.
It's also disturbing and thought-provoking.
It is.
But there's also this underlying humor, this dark wit that Chapman weaves into the narrative.
That's right. And I think that humor is important because it keeps the story from becoming too heavy, too oppressive.
Yeah.
It allows you to take a breath,
right,
to appreciate the absurdity of it all.
Yeah.
Even as you're cringing at the horror unfolding on the page.
Right. Like even in the midst of all this chaos and terror, there are moments that make you chuckle, shake your head and say, only Clay McLeod Chapman could pull this off.
And that's what makes him such a brilliant writer.
Yeah.
He can blend these seemingly disparate elements,
right,
horror, humor, social commentary, family drama, into a cohesive and compelling narrative.
It's like he's holding up a mirror to our society.
Exactly.
Reflecting our anxieties and fears, but with a twisted, darkly humorous twist.
Okay, but let's go back to the Great Reawakening for a minute.
Okay.
What exactly is it?
Yeah. Is it like a zombie apocalypse?
Well,
Alien invasion?
that's the beauty of it.
A demonic possession?
Chapman doesn't explicitly define what the Great Reawakening is.
Okay.
It's more of a feeling, a sense of impending doom that permeates the story.
Uh-huh.
It's left open to interpretation,
Okay.
which makes it all the more unsettling.
So it's like a Rorschach test for the reader.
Exactly.
We each bring our own anxieties and fears to the story, and the Great Reawakening becomes a manifestation of those fears.
Exactly. And that's why this book resonates on such a deep level.
Yeah.
It tapped into our primal fears, our anxieties about the future,
Right.
about the unknown.
Yeah.
It makes us question the narratives we buy into,
Right.
the media we consume,
Right.
and the very nature of reality itself.
Okay. I'm officially hooked,
Good.
and I'm guessing our listener is too.
I hope so.
But we're just getting started.
We are.
There's so much more to explore in Wake Up and Open Your Eyes. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.
Let's just say things are about to get even weirder.
Okay.
And we're going to dive into some of the most unsettling and thought-provoking aspects of this book.
Okay, so buckle up, dear listener, and be sure to keep a nightlight handy.
Yes.
You've been warned. So, as we're talking about this Great Reawakening and how it's portrayed in the book, it makes me think about the phrase itself.
Right.
Wake up and open your eyes.
Yeah.
It's repeated throughout the story almost like a mantra.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because on the surface, it sounds like a positive message, like a call to awareness, to enlightenment.
Right.
But in the context of the story, it takes on a much more sinister meaning.
Right. Like for the characters who are awakened,
Yeah.
it's this twisted form of enlightenment.
Yes.
They think they're seeing the world for what it truly is.
Right.
But their perception is warped, distorted by the awakening itself.
And it's not just limited to the characters who are physically transformed.
Right.
The phrase seems to resonate with others, too, like those who are drawn to the Great Reawakening as some kind of societal upheaval.
Right.
A revolution against the established order.
Which is what makes it so unnerving.
Yes.
Because it makes you question, what does it really mean to wake up?
Right?
Are we all just sleepwalking through life, blind to some hidden truth?
Yeah.
Or is this awakening just a delusion, a dangerous path leading to chaos and destruction?
That's the question Chapman leaves us grappling with,
Right.
and there are no easy answers.
Yeah?
It's up to each reader to decide what they believe, what resonates with them. But the book certainly makes you think about the narratives we create, the stories we tell ourselves, and how those stories can be manipulated, twisted to serve someone else's agenda.
Okay, so we've talked about the horror,
Yes.
the family dynamics, the unsettling concept of the Great Reawakening.
Right.
But there's one more thing I want to touch on.
Okay.
The ending.
All right.
And without giving anything away, let's just say it's not your typical horror movie resolution.
Right. It's not a neat and tidy bow tied around everything.
Yeah.
It leaves you with more questions than answers,
Right.
which I think is a testament to the book's power.
Yeah.
It stays with you long after you finish reading, making you ponder the themes and the characters' fates.
Exactly. It's not the kind of book you just close and forget about.
Right.
It lingers in your mind like a bad dream you can't quite shake off.
And that's what makes it such a rewarding read.
Right.
You know, it's not just about entertainment. It's about engaging with complex ideas,
Right.
confronting uncomfortable truths,
Yeah.
and exploring the dark side of human nature.
So if you're looking for a light and fluffy read, this is definitely not it.
No.
But if you're ready to be challenged,
Yeah.
to be unsettled, to be provoked, then Wake Up and Open Your Eyes is the book for you.
Just be prepared to sleep with the lights on for a while.
Well, I think we've done a pretty good job of giving our listener a taste of what Wake Up and Open Your Eyes is all about.
I think so.
We've hinted at the plot, the themes, the overall creepiness.
Yes.
All without spoiling the surprises in store.
And hopefully we've piqued their curiosity enough to make them want to pick up the book and experience it for themselves.
Exactly, because this is a book that demands to be read, discussed, and pondered.
It is.
It's a story that will stay with you long after you turn the final page.
So to our listener, if you're looking for a horror novel that's more than just jump scares and gore,
Right.
a story that will challenge your perceptions and make you question the world around you,
Yeah.
then Wake Up and Open Your Eyes is waiting for you.
And remember, keep those lights on. You've been warned.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
See ya.
Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.